Hello everyone, welcome back. We are in Theme Park Tycoon 2 again today. Now if you did miss our last episode, we built this absolutely incredible steam train. Make sure you go check that out. So I want to start work over in this area and I want to put some facades along this edge of the park. First things first, let's just start with a little wall. And we can colour this a nice brick colour. I'm going to go for a sort of, again, quite a factory feel like this. And I think we're going to have this facade sort of extend all the way out. I'm using these as the sort of door frame. And the back of this door is going to be this sort of more browny colour. I'm just using these to create some sort of panels on the doors. And then I can colour these a bit darker to put some detail on here. These are definitely missing some handles. And some windows too. I think maybe something like that would look quite nice for the colour. Yeah, that looks really cool actually. I do want to make sure these things are a little bit distinguishable from the back, so I'm just going to change the colour and make it a little bit darker. And now I'm going to move on to putting some windows in. So these are going to be the little ledges that we're going to use. And my hope was that they would be central, but apparently not. So what I'm going to do is just extend this by one. Oh my gosh, that's so annoying. I've just tried deleting practically every single rock from down here, and it still won't let me place it. I think it's probably this rail over here, which is really annoying. I'm going to have to try and delete this rail, and we'll probably just cover this with rocks. Okay, so let us put the facade there. And what we're going to have to do is just fill this little gap in with a couple rocks, because they obviously take up a lot less pieces and a lot more space than these tiny little railings here. That does make me quite worried for other stuff that I want to do, though, because, there's not too many pieces there. So I hope that we don't run into this problem too much. I'm hoping to do just a sort of normal arch thing that we've been doing with the other windows. They're nothing too special, but I think they'll look quite nice on this building. In fact, I should be able to pretty easily just use one of these as the top arch. So they were quite off-center. I hope that is fixed now. There is a little bit where they're overlapping at the top, but I'm going to be honest, I'm really happy with the sort of shape, and I quite like the sort of peak at the top, so I'm going to leave them like this. I want the color of the windowsill to be the same color as the doors, but I think the color of the windows could be this sort of greenish color. I think that will look quite nice. Then I'm going to make sure that these windows have this sort of crossbar on them. Then at the top, I'm going to have them at these sort of angles because I think that will make this look really nice. I'm actually a big fan of that. The only other slightly annoying thing I've got to do is just sort of make this have an edge to it, which is going to be a little bit more fiddly than I would have hoped because I'm just going to do it manually. But hopefully, once I have done all of this one, then I can just copy it over to these two. All right, that is all three windows now done. And I have to say, they are looking really nice. I think it's time to get a bit of detail into this building now. First of all, we could do with putting some edges on. A sneaky accent line along the bottom and further up as well. A couple of pipes along here. And we've got to make sure they've got their sort of joint connectors on. I'm also going to add an overhang because this is just a facade and I'm not going to put on any sort of roof. I'm going to add a couple supports to this overhang as well. And finally, I want to add a big sort of cog like we did with this one over here. I want a sort of half cog that sticks out the top of this because I think that will look really nice. So I've just hopped up here for a better angle. First things first, like always, we've got to put down the center of this cog. And I also want to put a slightly larger center around the middle as well. Then like always, I'm going to add some spokes. This time I'm going for a bit more of a square design. Then we can start adding some of the circular wheel around the outside. I'm also not going to forget about the spokes that would be either side horizontally as well. I think they are more or less equal. Then finally, we've got to add some teeth around the outside. Now, I don't want this to look as sort of gnarly as the other cog. I'm going to go with a sort of more comedy cog, so the teeth are just going to be these cylinders. Yeah, I think that looks quite nice actually. So now for the color, and this should be pretty easy. I'm going to grab this brown that we used in here and place it on the center and the spokes. Then I'm going to grab the silver we used and place this basically everywhere else. And that creates a pretty nice looking cog. Okay, on to the next building. This next part of the building I'm actually going to have in pretty much the exact same style as this, but it's just going to go on for quite some time. However, this part is going to be significantly taller than the first bit we'd made. First of all, I just want to change the color of these bricks so they stand out a little bit more. And now we can move on to the main facade itself. So the first thing I actually want is a staircase, a sort of like external fire escape that's going to go up the side of this building. I hope that a gradient like this should be what I'm looking for. I'm not too sure. They're all a bit close together. I do think the staircase like this looks better, but it's going to take a long time to get up to the top. So what I'm going to do is I've laid these all out in a horizontal grid, but now I'm going to take the snapping off for them vertically so I can bring them actually a little bit higher vertically, and I think that should do the trick. I actually think those stairs are pretty nice. I'm just going to color them black, but I also want them to be in this metal plate. Then at the top, I can do what I wanted to do and have a sort of flat balcony out like this. I can use these to make a sort of railing. Now, that is very, very wonky, and I'm going to delete those and make sure they're on a grid so it looks better. All right, so I'm also going to have a structure under here that I'm just going to use to sort of hold up this balcony area. Then I'm also going to have these cross poles, which sort of we have throughout the build on multiple different places. They are a bit thick though, so I'm just going to make these a little bit thinner just so it looks better. Okay, so that's the basic structure. I think a couple of rings for details might look quite nice. There we go. I'm absolutely loving how this turned out. I also added, by the way, a little sort of pavement style thing just to sort of give this a bit of an edge, and I think I will add it along here as well. But honestly, this is looking so good. Now it's time to get some color into this. So I think I'm going to be pretty boring and just use this silver metal plates for every single pole. Well, I had a better idea, and I put the poles in light gray and I put these sort of rings in a darker gray, and I think that looks amazing. One more thing I want to do is just put 4 of these rings at the bottom of each pole. There we go. That is looking absolutely fantastic. Now I'm going to continue with the railing for this staircase. So I think just something simple like that for the top is going to be really nice. Then for this area, I am just going to add some supports like this because I don't think we need any more of these big sort of supports. And also every step needs its own support like this. And finally, all I need to do is just add a single rail that collects together every single one of these. There we go. I think that is that done. That's looking really, really nice now. I'm really proud of how this staircase turned out. So, onto some more things. I'm just going to quickly bring this pavement across in front of here. And I'm also going to add a similar concrete pad area out the front of these doors, just as a little step up. Let's start adding some windows. Now, I do actually want these to be smaller than these windows over here, because these windows are actually quite big. There we go, maybe something like that. And just for ease, these windows are going to be square because I cannot be bothered to do any more circular topped windows. I'm actually going to use the same color bricks that we used on the corner of the facades for these windows. And I'm going to use the same greenish window back color. I'm also going to be using the same window dividers. And a lot quicker than these 3 windows, all of these 5 windows are now complete. We need to make sure we've got the same finish this side of the building as well. And also, it doesn't come high enough this side. This is slowly starting to come together. This place definitely needs some pipes. I'm also going to have some this side of the building as well. All right, the bases of the pipes are in. Now I've got to put in the joints. And this shouldn't be too hard. There are just quite a lot of pipe joints to get through. I just need to fix a couple pipes here, which are a little bit too long. And that is those facades looking a lot nicer. I also cannot forget about the accent lines. This one I'm just going to bring above the windows so it doesn't clash with them. And now all I've got to do is put the little overhang on this. There we go. That is 2 facades looking a lot nicer now. And look at this. I mean, this whole corner of the park is coming together really, really nicely. I admit that these two do look a bit similar when comparison to all of these that are different. However, we will add some other stuff around here, so don't worry, these won't look boring. You thought we were done there. Oh no, we have got a little bit more to add to these two buildings here. So I want to add some absolutely massive chimneys to the back of this facade, because I think that will just make this area come alive. So first of all, we're literally just going to grab a cylinder and pull it up as high as it will go. I'm going to add another one that's a bit further back and a bit shorter, because obviously we need some differentiation. And already those two chimneys are looking amazing. And this one I am just going to make a little bit thinner than the other two, just so we get a bit of variation. All right, so first of all, let's color these chimneys in this brick color. Secondly, I'm going to grab this, shrink it down and place it back on, just like we did with these. So we've got these sort of rings of decoration. Oh, the rings of decoration. I quite like that. And I'm just going to place one on, but then I'm just going to, because we don't want this to be the same color, so I'm actually going to grab the color, the silver color that we used down here, and I'm going to copy, oh no, not onto there, onto that one, and then we can put that there. Oh, that looks so good. So now I'm just going to copy this at intervals along the chimney. Oh my gosh, yes. Look at this. And last but not least, I'm just going to add a couple of larger sections towards the top of the chimneys, just because I think that'll look really nice. I'm actually then going to color this in golden, because I think that would be such a cool accent for the top. Then I want one final metal plates circle at the top, and I think that is that chimney all done. Obviously, we're going to need a couple of smoke emitters. I'm going to grab, say, 5 and put them all up here. So, for the smoke emitter, I definitely want to go with white smoke like this. I'm just going to turn my graphics up a little bit more so that the smoke is a continuous puff. Oh, almost. There we go, that is looking better. So with the smoke emitter, I definitely want the emitter power to be a lot larger, because I want the chimneys to be emitting quite high. And then let's go and add a couple up here so the smoke is a lot thicker. Oh my gosh, look, that is looking so cool. Oh gosh, I can't even zoom out far enough. Wait a minute, there we go. Oh, that looks absolutely incredible. Okay, now we've just got to go on to the other two. Okie dokie, I have finished the 3 chimneys. And guys, this is looking absolutely incredible. Here we go. The big reveal. Oh my gosh, doesn't this look so good? Right, guys. It's coming day. I'll show you what it looks like at day. So it's now daytime, and this is what the factory looks like. Oh my god, guys. I am in love with this. It looks so cool. And the chimneys as well just make this so perfect. Alright, so the bougie nighttime lighting is done. It's just daytime, so you can't see it at the moment, because I've got all the lights to be turned off during the day. So I will cut to it when it's night. I'll give you a little look, and then we'll have a POV of the ride. And yeah. Alright, so here is the bougie lighting. I think it's quite cool. I didn't really go overboard, just some oranges and some reds. But anyway, I'm going to show you a daytime POV, and that will be the end of the video. Right, so there it is. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today. I really, really did. I have to say, I think this is an incredible addition to the park. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.